Our grandmas would never have paid €3 for a coffee to go and still had everything they needed. Their old-fashioned frugal hacks still work today, often better than any modern money app. And exactly these simple, almost forgotten methods could save you hundreds of euros every year. If you don't want to miss any of these genius frugal tips, subscribe now and let's get started right away. Cleaning cloths from old t-shirts. Back then, old t-shirts didn't end up in the trash. They became cleaning cloths, soft and absorbent, perfect for dusting or the stove. A cut, a stack of finished cloths, and the household was ready. Simple, clever, almost indestructible. Laundry on the drying rack. On cold winter days, the drying rack stood by the window, the moist air mixed with the scent of fresh laundry. No electricity, just time and a bit of patience. So the fabric stayed soft, the colors vivid, and the wallet spared. Bake multiple dishes at the same time. When the oven was already warm, not just one dish went in. Lasagna next to apple pie, vegetable tray under crispy rolls. The heat wandered through all levels. Nothing was lost. So the house smelled like holiday, even on a Wednesday evening. Make draft stopper yourself. On winter evenings, a handmade draft stopper lay in front of every door. Heavy from sand, firmly sewn, it protected the warm room from the cold in the hallway. An unassuming guard that saved heating costs year after year and almost acted like a piece of furniture. Weekly shopping plan. Grandma had a hack that saved money every week. The weekly shopping plan. On Sunday, she sat down, noted what she needed, and shopped purposefully. No impulse buys, no forgotten things. So the budget stayed within limits, and the kitchen was always full. A hack that still works today. Buy vegetables and fruit seasonally. Back then, Grandma only bought what the season gave. Berries in summer, cabbage in winter, always fresh and cheap. No expensive import fruit from overseas, so every meal tasted of the season and the wallet stayed full. Today, we call it sustainable. Grandma simply said sensible. Homemade cleaners. From vinegar, lemon, and baking soda, Grandma conjured her cleaners herself. No expensive spray from the shelf. A splash of vinegar and water, and the windows shone. Baking soda dissolved dirt in the bathroom. So everything stayed clean without the money going down the drain. Onion half for grill grate. After grilling, when the grate was still warm and smelled of meat, Grandma didn't take a wire brush. She cut an onion through, speared it on the fork, and rubbed it over the bars. The heat enticed the essential oils out. The juice dissolved fat and burnt residues, all without scratching. The onion not only cleaned, it disinfected too. And while others scrubbed, Grandma was already done and still smelled of smoke and charcoal. A hack from grilling time that works to this day. Invisible, but thorough. Keep onions in stockings. In Grandma's pantry, onions hung from the ceiling, piece by piece knotted in old nylon stockings. That looked strange, but was genius. Each onion had its place, none pressed the other. The air could circulate, the moisture gave way, so they kept for weeks, sometimes longer. If one was bad, one cut it out. The rest remained untouched, a hack from the shortage time. Today almost forgotten, yet it works still, better than any net from the supermarket. Coffee grounds as scouring agent. After breakfast, the pot was empty. The coffee grounds clumped warm in the filter. Grandma didn't throw it away. She dried it, sprinkled it on a damp cloth, and rubbed over pots, sink, and baking sheet with it. The fine grains dissolved even firm residues, all without scratches. The surface became clean. The scent remained familiar. Afterward, the coffee grounds went into the garden. Nothing was wasted. Everything had its place. Today, we buy scouring milk. Back then, one simply drank coffee and cleaned up with it. Vegetable peels to chips. From peels that others throw away, Grandma made crispy chips. A touch of oil, some salt, the oven did the rest. They smelled of market and summer garden, crunched between the teeth, and reminded that good food often lies in the simple. Vegetable remnants to broth powder. From carrot peels, leek remnants, and celery leaves became a fragrant powder that refined every soup. Grandma dried everything slowly in the oven, ground it fine, and filled it in the glass. So even on gray days, a breath of summer garden stood in the kitchen. Make apple vinegar yourself. Apple peels, water, a little sugar, more was not needed. In the pantry it fermented quietly. The scent became fuller day by day. Grandma filled the golden vinegar in the glass, proud of every drop from her own hand. Make mustard and ketchup yourself. On the stove simmered tomatoes with spices, next to it fresh stirred mustard pulled through. The scent filled the kitchen, sweet and sharp at the same time. Grandma knew how to make both so that every bread and every sausage became a small feast in the mouth. Make pasta yourself. The dough lay warm under the hands, was kneaded until it was smooth and alive. Thin rolled out, cut into strips, the noodles hung on a cloth to dry. Grandma smiled because fresh pasta meant always good food and common waiting. Dry fruit. On the tray lay apple rings and plum halves. Slowly their moisture disappeared in the warm summer air. The scent pulled through the house, sweet and promising. Grandma stored the dried fruit in glasses, a supply that tasted of sun in winter. Pre-cook large quantities and freeze. The big pot bubbled for hours, filled the kitchen with familiar scent. Portion by portion wandered into the freezer, cleanly labeled, ready for long winter evenings. Grandma knew that such supplies are more than food. They are time, warmth, and a piece of security. Baked granola bars, oats, nuts, a warm shot of honey. The kitchen smelled of roasted grain and sweet childhood. Grandma cut the golden brown plates into firm bars, stacked them in glasses. A grab in, and the hunger was immediately forgotten. Use thermos flask. In winter, steamed hot tea from the thermos flask. In summer, beaded cool water on the walls down. Grandma took it everywhere with her, whether to the market or to the field. A flask meant warmth, refreshment, and the good feeling prepared to be. Own herb and vegetable cultivation. On the windowsill stood pots with basil and chives. Outside, tomatoes ranked on wooden stakes up. Grandma grabbed the scissors when cooking, cut a few leaves off. The scent of fresh green made every meal more alive and a bit cheaper. Sew old bed sheets to curtains. From an old bed sheet became curtains that gently undulated in the summer wind. Grandma sewed a simple tunnel, pushed the rod through, and hung them up. No store-bought would have more charm than this fabric with its stories and faded patterns. Jeans to shorts. From an old jeans became with a few cuts a new shorts. The hem remained frayed, exactly as Grandma liked it when clothing tells stories. So a worn-out piece of fabric got a second life and fitted again perfectly to the summer. Braided rugs from old fabrics. From colorful fabric strips grew row by row a rug, braided with patience and firm hands. Grandma liked it when colors mixed like memories. In the end, something lay on the floor that donated warmth and quietly told of past days. Turned blankets into animal beds. From an old blanket became a soft nest filled with fabric, remnants, and love. The dog rolled up in it, snorted satisfied. Grandma would have smiled because for her such beds were more than sleeping places. They were small islands of security. Sew shopping bags from fabric remnants. From colorful fabric remnants arose a bag. Robust and yet light in the hand, it replaced countless plastic bags, year after year. Grandma stuck it folded in her handbag, always ready when the market stand lured and fresh vegetables wanted home. Save buttons. In an old screw jar rattled dozens of buttons, each with own story. Grandma grabbed in when on coat or shirt something was missing, so clothing stayed in circulation, and no small loss became the reason to throw away something valuable. Second-hand shopping. Between dusty shelves and old suitcases, one sometimes found a treasure. A coat with perfect cut, a porcelain plate like from Grandma's kitchen. Second-hand was never just shopping, it was the hunt for things with soul and a second life. Repair clothes instead of throwing away. A small tear was no reason for Grandma to throw away something. With calm hand, she set stitches that held stronger than the original seam. So the shirt stayed in the closet, ready for many more days. And every seam told its own story. Care for shoes. The brush glided in even strokes over the leather until it shone again. A breath of wax, a last polishing. Grandma knew, cared for shoes carry one longer through life, and tell underway from someone who cares about his things. Keep wardrobe minimalist. In the closet hung only what was really needed. Every piece had its place and its task. Grandma would have said excess makes sluggish. So the wardrobe stayed overview, combinable and ready, without long searching for every occasion the right to offer. Collect rainwater. When the rain pattered, tons and old zinc tubs filled to the brim. The water was soft, perfect for beds and flowers. Grandma knew this cycle, and every liter from the sky saved the grip to the expensive tap water. Set up compost heap. Between apple peels and wilted leaves arose a treasure. Month by month, the pile transformed into dark, crumbly earth. Grandma called it her black gold and knew that no bought fertilizer of the world smelled so alive as her own compost. Store seeds. In small paper bags slumbered tiny promises for the next summer, carefully labeled, cool and dark stored. Grandma knew every variety by name and rejoiced when from these unassuming grains a whole garden full of memories and rich harvest grew. Homemade weed killers. A rest potato water, still steaming, ran over the paving joints. The next day, the green was gone. Grandma swore by this method, and she needed neither poison nor long waiting, only heat that the problem at the root packed. Homemade insect repellent. A few drops lavender oil in water, well shaken and sprayed, and already the summer evening stayed mosquito-free. Grandma knew this magic long before expensive sprays. The scent was gentle, the effect reliable, and the nature remained undisturbed her ally. Make bird feed yourself. In winter, it smelled in Grandma's kitchen of melted fat and grains. The mixture came in old cups. Outside they hung like small guest houses for titmice and sparrows. Every bite helped, and inside at the window began the most beautiful spectacle of the day. Store vegetables in sand. In the cool cellar stood a wooden crate full of sand. In it rested carrots and red beets, bedded like small treasures. Grandma called it her winter nest. Months long they stayed fresh, and when opening it smelled of earth, summer, and a time that never passes. Vegetable cultivation in waterbed. Back then, the vegetables grew in Grandma's bed. Today, it thrives in the waterbed. The roots like fine threads. This method saves space and time. Lettuce in winter, basil in the kitchen. Fresher it's hardly possible, and the whole year over. Use coffee grounds in the garden. Between the bean poles, it smelled of fresh coffee. Grandma sprinkled the grounds around her flowers, as if it were gold dust. The soil, thanked with rich green, rainworms came in droves. From kitchen waste became pure plant food, and no crumb went lost. Old pots and vessels as plant pots, an old cooking pot on the terrace, in it flowering thyme. Grandma would have smiled, because for her, everything got a second life. Discarded jugs, bowls, or buckets transformed into small gardens. So even the simplest container became an eye-catcher full of life. Organized book exchange. In the community hall piled novels, thrillers, and children's books. Everyone brings something. Everyone takes something. Grandma would have browsed there for hours, exchanged stories, and found new ones. So books wander from hand to hand and gift always fresh adventures without costing a cent. Share tools with neighbors. Back then it was self-evident to borrow the hammer from the neighbor. Today it saves money, space, and even ways. Grandma would have said, shared tool builds bridges. From a borrowed drill becomes quickly a conversation, and sometimes even a friendship for life. Form carpools. Back then it was self-evident to share the car. One drove together to work, brought the children to school, laughed underway, and saved gas. Grandma would have said that every liter counts, and every common kilometer makes the life a bit richer. Use library membership. Between high shelves and the scent of paper opens a world full of stories. A library card costs almost nothing, saves but a fortune. Grandma would have browsed there for hours. Knowledge, adventure, and inspiration wait, and all that, without buying a single book. Visit flea markets and household liquidations. Between clattering tables and the scent of fresh brewed coffee lie treasures that only wait to be discovered. At flea markets and household liquidations, one finds things with history. Grandma knew already. Who comes early goes seldom with empty hands. Food sharing apps. Grandma's wisdom meets modern living. Back then, it would have been self-evident not to waste food. Today, food sharing apps like Olio or Too Good To Go take over this thought. There, you can pick up bread from the baker or veggies from the store around the corner, everything's still good. Grandma would have just nodded and said that's simply healthy common sense. Lending stores, repair cafes. Back then, one went simply to the neighbor. Today there are lending stores. There waits the drill for its use, just like the sewing machine in the shelf. And in the repair cafe is repaired, screwed, laughed. Things stay longer, community grows stronger. Use community garden. Back then, one met in the garden, not only for harvesting, but for talking, laughing, learning. A community garden gives fresh vegetables and stories. Everyone plants, everyone harvests, everyone brings a piece home. So tastes neighborhood after tomatoes and solidarity. Clothes carousel/vinted instead of new purchase. Back then, one pulled with grandma to the exchange market. Today, one clicks through Vinted. Every jacket tells a story. Every dress has already danced. So one saves money, spares the environment, and finds treasures that no store shelf knows anymore. To give away, boxes in front of the door. Back then stood in front of many doors, a small treasure. A box labeled with "to give away" filled with books, dishes, or grandma's pot holders. One browsed, found surprises, brought something oneself, so everything wandered further instead of landing in the trash. And now comes the nicest part. You are on. Pick an idea, try it. Tell us down in the comments how it went, and share your own tips with the community. Maybe you have a hack from grandma in mind that we all should know. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss an episode and accompany us further on this journey in which we rediscover old knowledge and use for our everyday. Because every small step, every good habit, and every shared experience brings us a piece closer to a conscious, simpler life. And the best about it, you are part of it.